this might be your first time joining us, we are part the of a healthy living community known as the Juice Plus community, and we are grateful to be a part of such a fabulous community. The Juice Plus company began back in 1970. We were the company, actually, we began as NSA. We were the company that introduced smoke detectors in the US. Then we went into air filtration, water filtration, and then in 1993, we introduced Juice Plus. It was a divine connection between Dr. Smokey Scintilla and the Juice Plus crew. Juice Plus, very simply put, is whole food, real food, good food that has been crushed into powders, put into capsules so that we can consume them. And I just want to turn this over to my good friend who's going to talk a little bit more about Juice Plus. Her name is Coach Carla Joy, the transformation coach. But for those who may not know it, she's my personal Dr. Google. So, Dr. Google Carla, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here every evening and to have my bestie Ruthie introduce me. Now, we're here every Friday night, and we talk about issues that come up when you talk about health or visiting your physician. I just want to remind you that the information that we share is for your education. Please do not make changes to your health protocols, to any medications or any medication plans, until you've had a conversation about it with your physicians, because I'm not functioning as a clinician here. I'm just functioning as an educator. So why don't I try to provide you some information? I got a question. Some people wonder if I say that everybody should be vegan. And the question is, should I really be vegan? Do I have to be vegan to be healthy? Well, I wanted to find out what was the best answer. I have several mentors, not least of which is Dr. Neil Barnard, who runs a clinic out at Washington, D.C. Now, he has an organization, PCRM, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And they have a vlog called The Exam Room, hosted by Chuck Carroll. Apparently, he's very popular as a person who's experienced intense weight loss and been able to keep off the weight. So they were talking about, do we really have to become vegan to be healthy? And there has been a recent Netflix video. You can write this down. You are what you eat. I haven't seen it yet because I don't have Netflix, but maybe we'll be able to do a watch party so that we can have a look at it. It is based on some research that came out of Stanford University, where they did the identical twin study. And the chief researcher was Dr. Christopher Gardner. This 8-week study was divided into two groups. The first 4 weeks, food was delivered to these twins, and these were identical twins. So, why would they use identical twins? Because everyone knows that one of the things that is very popular now is that individual medicine. And if two people are twins, identical twins, they have the same genetic profile. And these twins, I believe, grew up in the same households. And one of the other things about them is that they were healthy. They did not have any known medical conditions. So they were looking at healthy people with the same genetics and comparing what they were going to eat. And as I said, for the first 4 weeks, the meals were delivered to them. And then for the second 4 weeks of this 8-week study, they made the meals themselves. So, what were the meals like? They were described as healthy vegan and healthy omnivore. Well, healthy vegan, what does that mean? Well, you could be eating only plant based material, but it might not be healthy. So, um, if you were drinking drinks that had a lot of sugar flavored sweetened drinks, they didn't have any animal products in them. So I guess they could be described as vegan, but that wouldn't make them healthy. So when they were talking about healthy vegan and then healthy omnivore, what they did was 70% of the calories that they provided for the twins was plants, whole food, plant based. So 70% of their calories was plants. With the omnivore people, they gave them 30% of their calories coming from animal products, things like cheese, chicken, etc. But the vegan group, their additional 30% was still plant based material. So that would be fruits, vegetables, grains, peas, and beans. Now, um, what were the findings in this study? Well, I'm glad you asked. As I said, originally they started with healthy people, but what they observed was that the vegan population, that those that were assigned to the vegan group to eat only vegan plant-based materials, they actually had a lower LDL cholesterol to start with. So their LDL cholesterol was an average of about 110.7 milligrams per deciliter. Those that were going to continue eating an omnivore diet, they tended to have a slightly higher LDL of 111.5. Now, both groups on this eating plan where they had at least 70% of their calories coming from plants, both groups saw drops in their LDL cholesterol. The group that started, the vegan group, they started at 110 and they dropped to 95.5. The omnivore group, they started at 118 and they dropped to 116. So there was a drop. It was just much slower. They also measured, that was the main focus of the study. And to get the study published, they actually had to have one main focus. But they were allowed, of course, to look at other parameters. So what other things did they look at? They looked at the average amount of insulin floating around in their blood. And they found that those on the vegan diet had lower insulin by about 20%. Their insulin um, concentrations dropped. They also noticed that those on the vegan diet, they lost about 4.2 pounds more than those on the omnivore diet. Now, remember that these diets, the vegan diet would be lower in saturated fat, it would have been higher in fiber, they experienced greater weight loss, and something that they were, I don't know that if they expected this, but those on the vegan diet got an increase in DNA protection. You've heard about telomeres. They're like the little caps on the end of the shoelace. Well, think of your DNA as shoelaces. These telomeres are little protective caps at the end. And they found that even after 8 weeks, just 8 weeks of eating a completely plant based eating plan, there was an improvement in the telomeres and consequently, what they extrapolate to believe, an improvement in longevity and youthfulness. So he made the researcher made a joke and said, "Well, if you are the older twin and you were eating vegan for 8 weeks, you are now the younger twin because their DNA was so protected, it was almost like the equivalent of becoming younger and younger." Now, we all tell stories about people who have been on a health journey and who have added more fruits and vegetables to their eating plan. So the conclusion of this study was both groups actually improved because even the omnivore group, they were eating more fruits and vegetables than they usually would. They were eating 70% of their calories coming from plants. So they had more fiber, they had less saturated fat, they were able to actually experience some weight loss because their meals were better than they had been having before the study began. But the twins that had been on the completely plant based eating plan, they experienced health improvements, heart protection, um, and digestive protection, all the things that we've been talking about over the years, and all that the research has shown over the years that eating whole food plant based can do for you. And we know, we've talked about it in doctor's orders, that and Dr. Michael Greger, in his presentation, Unearthing the Cause of Disease, he talks about the 15 most common causes of death. And except for self-harm or suicide, every one of those parameters, by eating whole food plant-based, you reduce the risk of the occurrence of the diseases, you slow the progression of the diseases, and in some cases, especially if you look at the work of Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, you can see the actual reversal of the disease. And in Dr. Esselstyn's case, it's heart disease. People who had heart disease were actually able to see a transition and an improvement in their blood vessels. We also have doctors who've experienced remission from autoimmune conditions. So this gives us hope. So in conclusion, both groups ate more fruits and vegetables, and we have been saying that at the end of every doctor's orders that we need to eat more fruits and vegetables. But my input is that when you look at the work of T. Colin Campbell, he showed that people who ate more than 10% of their calories coming from animal products were at risk for increased incidence, increased severity, and progression of chronic disease. And the people in this study, they were eating 30% of their calories from animal products. So the answer to the question, do I have to become vegan? Of course, it's a personal choice. But what does the research show? The research shows that at 30% of your calories or above coming from animal products, you're at higher risk for chronic disease problems and even death. But if you can bring that down to 10% of your calories and less, then that seems to be a marker for a safety zone. So the answer to the question, do I have to become vegan? Removing all animal products from your eating plan may be a wise idea if you have severe symptoms, if you have a diagnosis, if you want to rapidly reverse the cause of disease. But according to the research, as long as you stay 10% of your calories or less coming from animal products, you should be able to experience improvement in your health and maybe even be in the safety zone. Again, this is a good question, a good discussion that you can have with your medical professionals so that you have a better idea of which will be the best pathway for you. Now, here at Doctor's Orders and as part of the Juice Plus company, we have a wonderful benefit of being able to add more fruits and vegetables to our eating plan right away. The person who invited you to this video, they care about you and they may not know for sure whether you are ready to jumpstart your healthy living journey. But at least you can now get some information that can be helpful in making a healthy decision. So, what is Juice Plus? You heard a little bit about our history, but Juice Plus is fruits and vegetables that have been grown in pristine conditions. We work with farmers, many of whom are multi-generational farmers, and they take very good care of their soil and their products, minimal, if any, herbicides or pesticides. And then the fruits and vegetables are not picked until they're fully ripe. A lot of the produce that we get in the markets, in the supermarkets, they have been picked before they were ripe. In fact, you can look at them in the grocery store and some of them are still not ripe. But it's during, if they ripen on the vine, it's during those last stages of ripening that many nutrients are produced in the fruits and vegetables. And these are the nutrients, many of these are the nutrients that our body needs to heal itself. So in the Juice Plus, our farmers wait until the fruits and vegetables are fully ripe. And then, as quickly as possible after they're picked, they're either flash frozen or crushed and flash frozen so that they can lock in all those nutrients. And then they're concentrated into powders and placed in capsules. What that does is that it locks in all the nutrients and allows us to have access to 30 fruits and vegetables in the capsules or soft chews, and even more in our complete shake or our perform shake. Now, when you get started on your health journey, sometimes if you were confronted with the option of making 15 or 20 changes all at once, sometimes that can be a bit overwhelming. So instead, we have an opportunity to make one simple change. You can add the concentrated fruits and vegetables in the Juice Plus capsules or the soft chews, and that can be your one simple change. But in addition to that, we have the omegas. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the value of omegas. These omegas, they are important in the membranes of all of our cells and the membrane of the cells in our brains, and in the function of our bodies and in our immunity and in the immune system and the inflammatory processes, anti-inflammatory processes. So many people resort to fish omegas. The problem is fish don't make omegas. They actually concentrate it from the algae that they eat, but also concentrated in the flesh of the fish is the poisons, the toxins from the water that they're floating in. The Juice Plus Omega blend is produced from algae and 5 other plants that allow us to get the omegas without having to kill any fish. And we have a blend, the way they occur in nature, omega 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. So you get a blend of omegas that come from a plant source in a plant-based capsule, just like the capsules for um, the Juice Plus fruits, vegetables, and berries. We like to call that the quad. So a lot of people can make one simple change, get the quad, and start flooding your body with more fruits and vegetables. Remember, in the study, 70% of their calories came from fruits and vegetables. Now, I don't know how you eat, but for many Americans, we eat 30% or more of our calories coming from animal products. And remember, we said we want to bring that down, and this is one way that you can do that. Excuse me, you can simply add more fruits and vegetables. And with the complete shake, that's another way that you can get healthy fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. Now, a lot of people want to eat the animal products to get the protein. But a lot of us, like I said, if you're eating 30% of your calories or more coming from animal products, our bodies don't use all of that protein. It's broken down, and our kidneys have to get rid of the breakdown products. It's really hard on our kidneys. Our bodies just use the amount of protein that they need and break down the rest. Now, when we have the complete shake, the protein in the complete shake, it's plant based protein. And so it's non inflammatory, and it's a measure, an amount that our body can use, and it's not excessive. And the Perform Shake is used by athletes. If you're exercising or if you're recovering from a bout of illness, the higher protein content in the Perform Shake might just do the trick. And if your doctor is requiring or suggesting that you eat higher protein meals, the Perform Shake might be just the thing. So I recommend that you get it and you talk to your doctor about it. Many of them are so impressed with the quality of the Juice Plus products and the Juice Plus shakes. Finally, I want to remind you about um, the Juice Plus, our newest product. Now, how many of you are coffee drinkers? Well, there has been controversy over coffee for a long, long time. Now, just keep in mind that if you drink coffee, that coffee can be dehydrating, so that if you drink a cup of coffee, you might want to drink 2 cups of water to so that you can rehydrate. But with our Luminate, we don't have the coffee beans by themselves roasted. We actually have the coffee berry. And so that with different types of mushrooms and other herbs together give us a refreshing, relaxing drink that keeps us alert. And it's very, very encouraging to have that as part of your health journey. So when you're thinking about the question of the day, should I go vegan? It's not necessarily that you do. But remember, you want to keep your animal products to, according to the research, less than 10% of your calories. You want to flood your body with fruits and vegetables. And one way, the best way that you can make that jump would be to add the Juice Plus, the Quad, and the Complete, and the or the Perform and the Luminate to your eating plan. Now, stay tuned because very soon the person who invited you is going to be inviting you to our January um, 25 Jumpstart. We've got a program in store that we're unveiling, and we're looking forward to sharing it with you so that you too can start 2025, um, put your health goals in place and get started, and we'll be here to support you all the way. This year, we did Shred 10 every month, and many of us are still excited about the results that we've had over this process. I personally have had been walking more, and I've got all of my weekly numbers in a journal to show that my health is improving because I made that one simple change. And many others have also done the shred. So next year, we want to partner with you as well. So if you're seeing this video in a replay, just know that the person who invited you to it cares a lot about you and wants to give you an option to jumpstart your health. Please feel free to ask them about a three-way call where we can get together, hear about your health goals, and get you started on jumpstarting your healthy living journey. Um, well, I think that's it for today. If there are any questions, I can entertain them. If not, any questions? Okay, well, I'm going to try to end the YouTube
I do it.
broadcast.
I
Oh,
have a
you
question.
oh, you have a
It's a
question? Okay.
it's a real quick question. What was the name of that book you mentioned earlier or
That
something?
so it was a documentary. You are what you eat.
I should have remembered that. Okay. Thank you.
And the study was the identical twin study from out of Stanford University. But thanks for asking. That's great. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you so much. Um, Thanks for joining us. Merry Christmas. I look forward to seeing everybody again. And before you go, there's something that we remind each other, and we want to remind you that all the experts agree that what you need to do is
Eat
eat
more
more
fruits
fruits
and
and
vegetables.
vegetables. That's right. Thanks for joining us.